Welcome Leah Winkler to the show. All right, everyone. Welcome to Buoys in the Storm, the importance and development of student-led community organizations. I'm Chris McGilvray, and we're going to start us off by, I'm going to introduce to you all Jim Vernon. He's the Department Chair of Business IT and Manufacturing at Front Range Community College, Boulder County campus. Jim Vernon, take us away.
Thank you, Chris. And it's my honor to be here and to introduce this session and these great students that you're going to hear from today. As Chris mentioned, I'm Department Chair for Business IT and Manufacturing. And I also teach business and economics, but I've had the great pleasure of co-advising the Chamber Student Network for the past several years. It's been just a wonderful experience. And so I'm going to have Chris give you a little bit more information about the background of this. And I really just, I love the fact that I get to open up and then just leave it off to these students. They're going to carry the bulk of the conversation with you. So thanks. Back to you, Chris.
All right. Thank you, Jim. As Jim mentioned, I'm Chris McGilvray, business faculty at Front Range Community College. I'm also a small business owner and chair of the board of directors for the Longmont Area Chamber of Commerce. And I co-advise the Chamber Student Network with Jim Vernon. And just to give some brief context to what we're gonna hear today, you're gonna hear from three amazing student stories of the importance of and the value of getting involved in communities and that direct correlation between student success. You're gonna hear about how students have started, built, and sustained a student-led community organization known as the Chamber Student Network, which is an affiliation through the Longmont Area Chamber of Commerce. So just for context, about 3.5 years ago at a Longmont Chamber of Commerce board retreat that Jim and I were at, we were having a thoughtful conversation about the challenges that our business community and businesses were facing. And this was during a time pre-COVID-19 where unemployment in Boulder County was at a record low, hovering below 2%. And it wasn't even close. By far, the single greatest challenge that our business community was facing was talent development, finding quality employees locally, staffing their businesses, developing and sustaining and retaining good quality workers. And it was out of that conversation that gave birth to the idea of students getting involved and connecting students to industry and business owners at the local level. What if we can connect students in a meaningful way to these businesses that are looking for talent? And that's where the idea came from. It was about the time that I went full-time at the college. And so it started from there. So I'm gonna introduce, so here's Jim Vernon. As you all know, he's the department chair for the business IT manufacturing. There I am. And I wanna highlight and introduce Kathy Stevens, who's our business director for the Longmont Area Chamber of Commerce as well. She's been a critical piece to the support for students within this network. And I have the privilege of introducing to you all the three student leaders through the Chamber Student Network that you're going to hear from today, starting with Alex Rodriguez. Alex is the co-chair of the Chamber Student Network. He's also the president of our business club at the Boulder County campus called Everybody's Business. He's a small business owner. He's the owner of Let's Get Moving, which is a moving company locally. Next, I want to introduce Astrid Villalobos. She is the co-chair of the Chamber Student Network. She's a member of SGA, Student Government Representative, and she is heavily involved in the Longmont community. She's a member of the Longmont Multicultural Action Committee, which is the City of the Longmont initiated committee of community leaders that collectively take action to promote cultural understanding, inclusion, and involvement. She's also done a lot of incredible work related to sustainability at the local level as well. Next, we have Kevin Ortiz. He's the president of our business club at Boulder County campus, Everybody's Business. He's the marketing director for the Chamber Student Network. I refer to Kevin as the graphic design expert. He currently works for 303 Sign Company. He's in charge of their digital marketing. And these three students are part of the Chamber Student Network leadership team, but I also want to highlight that these three students didn't know each other in the fall of 2019 when they were all sitting in my introduction to business class. And here they are, and they're going to speak about the value of building community connections. And I give the torch to Alex Rodriguez to cover the agenda. Alex?
Hi, everyone. Before I cover the agenda, I'll give a quick introduction of myself. My name is Alex, and I'm the co-chair of the Chamber Student Network. I first learned about CSN in 2019 during my first semester at Front Range, where after my first meeting, I joined the leadership and began as the treasurer of the group. Aside from being a student, I'm also a local small business owner, and it was this, in fact, that drove my decision to pursue a degree in business in the first place. Growing up, my family owned a small business in a big city, and I learned firsthand the value that engaging with the community could bring to both your professional and your personal life. When my intro to business professor, Chris McGilvray, who serves as advisor to our group, offered extra credit in his class for attending a CSN meeting, I took the opportunity, but not because I thought I would need the extra credit. I saw it as a chance to begin building bridges in the community where I live, in hopes that by doing so, my business might also grow. Also, I knew that because the idea of meeting lots of new people, promoting myself, and public speaking made me nervous to just think about, that this was probably something I should do. Because being the novice practitioner of Stoicism that I am, I realized that self-inflicted hardship often has the potential to induce positive change. And while I've certainly grown my business through the interactions I've had and people I've met in my time with CSN, it's also been an opportunity to grow in many other ways. In my leadership position with the group, I've learned about the logistics of event planning while organizing the various types of functions that we've hosted, both in person pre-pandemic and in this new virtual world. I've had the opportunity to practice working with the team to plan and implement new ideas. I've found through CSN the chance to volunteer and participate in events outside of our group with our community partners. And despite still being nervous about it every time, I admittedly have become more comfortable and adept at speaking to groups of people. Because as I repeatedly find to be true, we often suffer more from imagination than from reality. I also feel very fortunate that we have such supportive partners, both in the business faculty at Front Range and in the Longmont Area Chamber of Commerce. The Chamber Student Network is a student-run organization, but we rely on our community partners, and we would not have been able to do what we have without their support. So a brief overview of what we'll be going over today. We're going to talk about what is a Chamber of Commerce and the Chamber Student Network. We're going to talk about the value of networking and community. We're going to talk about why combining student or community organizations is beneficial to both. We'll discuss several accomplishments that we've had as individuals and as a group through our work with CSN. And finally, how to develop similar organizations. Also, throughout the discussion, feel free to participate in the chat. You can talk about how you've engaged with students during COVID, how you've kept people involved in your group or organization. So before we talk about what a Chamber Student Network is, I'd like to first go over what a Chamber of Commerce is for those who might not be aware. The Chamber of Commerce is an organization made up of business owners and business representatives for the purpose of networking and promoting the interests of the business community. Although it's most common to see community-based chambers of commerce, they also exist on a national scale, such as the US Chamber of Commerce. Through membership and participation, individuals are able to meet and support others in their community. Also, through various committees, such as the Education Committee of the Longmont Chamber, members can work to make positive changes within their community. In these ways, chambers of commerce often play an essential role in the growth of a local area. And I'd like to introduce my co-chair, Astrid.
Hi everyone, welcome to our webinar. As Alex said, my name is Astrid Villalobos. I am an SGA legislative representative for the Boulder County campus at Front Range Community College. I am also the co-chair for the Chamber Student Network. I am currently pursuing my associate's degree in political science, but just before all of that, I'd like to share that I did originally start as a business major. It's just that I quickly realized that I was very passionate about community service and advocacy for the Latinx community in the city of Longmont. I began my journey in community involvement in the fall of 2019 at FRCC, where I joined the LEADS leadership program at Front Range Community College. And through some work in my classes and just getting that introduction to business course, I decided to join the Chamber Student Network after I heard about it in Chris McGilvery's class. And I was just really interested in building interpersonal skills and joining the community of students that shared professional interests that were similar to mine. I really needed these skills because I felt like I had to thrive in a community and of so many students. Because of my community involvement, I was actually able to secure a part-time job as an assistant for the sustainability program at the city of Longmont. I currently have this position and I get to focus on just working with Latinx businesses in the community on guiding them to a more sustainable path in their business, whether it's environmental issues that they're interested in, or social or economic issues that they want to pursue in their business. My work in the city has also allowed me just to get hired in certain other positions. For example, last summer, I was hired as a census outreach partner at the FRCC BCC campus, where I focused on outreach for hard to count communities, such as students and the Latinx population in Longmont. All of this work has been because I took a chance on, the Chamber Student Network and developing those professional skills. With all of that work, I wouldn't have been able to be where I am today, which is why we've decided to share this personal experience and how CSN really came to be. Before we begin, I would like to talk a little bit more about what the Chamber Student Network is. I'd like to reiterate what Alex said and share more about our parent organization. The Longmont Chamber of Commerce is a networking organization that proactively advocates for businesses. It develops strong leadership programming and it promotes educational opportunities to build skills for their members. It's essentially LinkedIn, but in person. The Chamber Student Network is a program from the Longmont Chamber of Commerce that is actually run by students, us three, and it really gives the opportunity where education and business collides. So students get the opportunity to connect to businesses, mentors, and many other opportunities in order to gain professional development and ultimately succeed in their careers. I will pass it back to Alex to talk a little bit more about the value of networking.
Thanks, Astrid. So networking is essentially building connections. And experts agree that the most connected people are often the most successful. Goes back to that oft repeated phrase, it's not what you know, it's who you know. What you know is definitely important, but I'm sure as many of you would agree, it's often through who you know that you find most of the best opportunities. I'm going to talk about several of the benefits of engaging in active networking. So it's an avenue for new opportunities. You never know where your interactions might take you. So many of the best experiences of my life can be traced back to one chance meeting. The concept of luck and the role it plays in success is usually a polarizing one, but my favorite way to think about it is best said by Thomas Jefferson. I'm a great believer in luck, and I find the harder I work, the more I have of it. Networking also exposes you to new ideas. You don't know what you don't know. Networking is a way to be exposed to these things and trends that could be relevant to your lives. Also, success in a career is largely attributed to the pool of information or ideas you've garnered over the past. Networking is about developing relationships. Relationships are how communities are built, and developing mutually beneficial ones are how we as individuals can grow together. Through this practice, you're able to grow your self-confidence. Networking is an opportunity to practice starting conversations, listening to others, communicating clearly, and learning about the people around you. The more we practice, the easier it becomes. And with that personal growth comes confidence, and confidence in one area of your life often spills over into others. Next slide.
Yeah, thank you. So now let's talk a little bit more about the value of community. Before I begin, I'd like to share a brief definition of community. According to Merriam-Webster, community is a unified body of individuals, such as the people with common interests living in a particular area, or a body of persons of common and specifically professional interests scattered through a larger society. This can be applied to the business and academic community. Or a simpler term, which I really liked, was written by Justin Clarabut. The word community is, without a question, central to human experience. When talking about community, I always split it now to before and during COVID-19. Prior to the pandemic, we had in-person events. That's, like I said before, that's what CSN and the Longmont Chamber of Commerce thrived on. This served as a reinforcer to build skills while connecting to students and the community. Networking was an essential part to build and grow the business community at FRCC and Longmont. Also, chambers are all about community. For example, our parent organization, Longmont Chamber, had an annual event called Unity in the Community, which is an event about creating connection and Longmont pride through the people, the businesses, the arts, and the culture. For me, community means that I had the opportunity to share subjects or ideas that I was passionate about. As a result, I was able to create new things so that I can share with others. Through community and sense of belonging, I was also able to express my identity and things I've highly valued. But then the pandemic hit and our social lives came to a halt. After the beginning of the 2020 fall semester, the leadership team had a meeting. We all gathered online, I guess, to discuss our goals. And one of these goals was to continue to grow CSN in the CSN community of students who were really interested in the opportunity to connect to businesses and just learn more about the necessary skills to be successful in the professional environment. Another thing that changed was the way we communicated. All the values I mentioned in the prior pandemic category still applied. We just had to change our program and cater to the online student community. As a result, we were able to reach students from other cities and campuses. Lastly, we had to facilitate discussion and model behavior. At CSN, we wanted our community to be successful. It was important to engage with participants in our meetings, from asking questions to praising the types of behavior and methods we wanted to encourage. Taking an active role was crucial to succeed in communities. Although many of us are adjusting to the online environment and we're trying to figure out what community we belong to, I believe that through the power of combining school and community organizations, we can thrive and succeed. I will now let my friend Kevin Ortiz share more about this idea. Thank you.
Hey, my name is Kevin Ortiz. I go to school with Alex and Astrid. I joined the Chamber of Commerce, the Chamber Student Network, a year ago, and I've gotten so many opportunities, and I've just had such a great time that I keep coming back. So I'll be speaking of the value of combining student and community organizations. So I'd say the first biggest value for me is the opportunity. It helps you explore careers. So I went to school really not knowing what I wanted to do. I was doing personal training and I liked it, but I didn't like some aspects of it. I was planning on getting a degree and then getting a career afterwards, but luckily with the Chamber Student Network, I was able to attend a networking event, which introduced me to um, uh, my new boss, Dave. And so I got the, I started off as an intern, and then just from like taking on more aspects of the marketing, I then got a job and doing more freelance work on the side now. And so it's the Chamber Student Network has helped me in further my career is the gist of it. So student and community organization also helps with increasing your marketability. Community organizations can help broaden your personal brand. It's essential to present yourself to the world and how others see in the community. Because the Chamber Student Network is a student-led organization, it helps you speak with facilitators, help with other members in the community, and providing help to other students. And so you develop your skills in providing a personal brand and how you project yourself to others and um, how others perceive you. And student and community organizations also help with a chance to build your skill set. Uh, CSN has a parent organization that allows members to connect with mentors. And one thing you hear a lot about is finding mentors for your careers is important. Before the network, I believed it would have been hard, but just all the people I've met through the network, I was able to meet many different people in all types of fields. And now I have lots of great friends, lots of great mentors, and I've had lots of opportunities and events that have gone from this. So, yeah.
Thank you, Kevin. Yeah, so there are just several things we've accomplished as a group and individuals. And I would just like to share these things that we've done in the past as a result from being in the Chamber Student Network. So at the Chamber Student Network, we've been able to connect students with internships. This is something that Kevin just mentioned a while ago, but yeah, I mean, think about it. If Kevin had not actually been to that networking opportunity, you know, even though he was not comfortable in that environment or didn't know anything about the networking experience, that first connection really established a connection with Dan, his current boss, and he was able to get hired and get the internship through that opportunity. Since COVID-19 began, we've been one of the only clubs on campus to grow and continue regular meetings during the pandemic. At FRCC, I think it was really challenging for several clubs and organizations to just stay connected because people were still adjusting to the online environment. But because of, I think the key to our success was just that the leadership team and members of CSN were committed to continue developing their professional skills in order to prepare for their careers. You know, even though we had all these problems on the side, we knew that eventually we were going to have to prepare and we were going to get the opportunity to go back to that networking world and connecting. You know, we all still have to have jobs, so that work wasn't going anywhere. And the leadership team and a lot of members of CSN really committed to learn and just participate in the Chamber Student Network. I think also all of this would have not been possible if it weren't for the support of our advisors and our parent organization. Like Chris and Jem said at the beginning, they did have the idea, but they've allowed us to really take the wheel and design our program and cater it to the student community. So it's a really wonderful experience, and I'm just so grateful for that from both of them. And today, I think that just the Chamber Student Network continues to grow because of the opportunities that we offer. There's so many things that we offer in terms of mentorship and just professional development. I think those are really essential to many of us because, you know, it's it's really hard when you're a student and you're fresh out of high school. You don't have that level of understanding of how maybe even the real world works. But through these organizations, you have the opportunity to learn about this and practice as a student, not necessarily be thrown out into the world and try to figure it out on yourself, by yourself. Another accomplishment for our group is that several members have gone on to form businesses. I did see the question about that in the group chat, and no, you do not actually have to have your own business to join CSN. Like I said, there's many things that different initiatives and reasons as to why we decided to join the Chamber Student Network. But like I said, several members have joined or have formed their business, and the majority of the founding members and current leadership have some type of business or career in order to sustain themselves. CSN is highly regarded in the business and student community in Longmont because it allows students to become entrepreneurs and learn invaluable skills in the workforce. Lastly, students in leadership have hosted and moderated several community events. This is precisely the type of experience that you can gain from joining an organization or club. I think that, you know, like for example, for me, I was able to moderate a city event, which I never expected to be doing by myself, but just having all this professional development in the background and even in my resume really allows those old doors to open. Sometimes you don't even have to, you know, struggle as much once you have that personal development. And when I first joined CSN, I was really shy and terrified of public speaking. But through practice and exposure to leading club meetings, I was also able to gain a lot of confidence in myself. So yeah, those are just some accomplishments.
Thanks, Astrid. So yeah, I wanted to talk about how to potentially develop similar organizations to the Chamber Student Network in your communities and schools. So as Astrid emphasized, the support that we have in our faculty is paramount to our success. It's really no coincidence that the three of us were in one of Chris's class. You know, we often plan things and have the ideas, but you know, without their assistance in facilitation and logistics, we couldn't do what we do. So the first step is finding that support in willing faculty, wherever you may be. You know, it doesn't even have to be the business department. It can be any department that's has individuals willing to support you forming an organization comprised of students that is going to work somehow with an organization or multiple from the community. So next, you want to reach out to community organizations. We're fortunate enough to have the Longmont Area Chamber of Commerce to be extremely supportive to our operation, but it doesn't have to be a Chamber of Commerce if there's not one near you, or if you would just like to approach a different organization. You can have nonprofits, city government, Rotary, veterans associations. All of these are likely to have members who want to engage or will benefit from engaging with the student community. After that, you want to connect with students. And here again is where faculty becomes key. You know, it really does help when the professor can offer extra credit for attendance to our events. You know, many people just come for the extra credit, but also sometimes they end up coming back, and that really makes a difference. But really any way that you can engage with students through your current clubs, through student government, any way you can reach out and build awareness of this new community you're trying to build. And finally, have a mission or goal and realize that that goal can change. You know, when COVID happened, we had to dramatically change our way of operation. As an organization that is focused with networking, you know, we had to figure out how are we going to get people together virtually and try to emulate even somewhat the experience of in-person networking. And one thing that we began to do was, we started planning our semester events only after the initial orientation. In that way, we were able to really get feedback from all the students who participated in orientation, find out their career goals, who they might be interested in speaking to that's part of the business community, what they wanted to learn. And then from there, we took that information and would build out the future events where we have these business community members come and engage with students in some way. So
yes.
we just wanted to finally get some engagement from the crowd. I know Astrid answered Philip's question already, but yeah, I want to hear, because most of this crowd is also leaders in your community or organization. So what are some ways that you've been able to really maintain or grow engagement despite not being able to meet in person?
Hey, Alex. So actually, somebody did ask a really good question in the chat.
Oh, sure.
Can those of us who are unsure what our final career destination will be still benefit from joining and be able to contribute, even those of us going into the medical field?
Oh, definitely. I mean, the skills that you learn in participating in groups like ours are ones that translate to everything in life, pretty much. Like we've been really reinforcing. No man is an island. You need a community. You need support from those around you, and learning how to communicate, learning how to listen to others, exposure to new ideas. These are things that are universal and benefit. So, even if you're going into the medical field, it's, for example, you'd want to learn how to network.
I think to add on that too, I'm pretty sure we've had someone who's does management at one of, yeah. Don't remember their name though.
Yeah, just to add a little bit more context to what Kevin was saying.
Yeah, sorry.
At our CSN meetings, no worries, we're able to invite mentors from the Longmont Chamber of Commerce, our parent organization. So let's say you're a student who's interested, like they said, in the medical field, but also in maybe pursuing a business career. We have an event that's called a round robin, where each of the mentors are sitting at a different table, and students get to rotate in those tables. Right now it's all online. We do the same for Zoom, but you get the opportunity to ask questions, to learn from them, share an experience with them, and potentially connect with them to even get a more hands-on experience about their career and things like that. So David Sigenza raised his hand.
Yes, I just wanted to comment that the skill set that you guys are engaging in right now as students versus waiting to like some of your peers to engage will save you both time and gain you money, as you'll be prepared for the job market a lot sooner than your colleagues and your peers that wait until after they complete their degrees. So, and also to some of the questions, the skill sets that you gain in engaging in this type of organization, it's across industry. It's regardless. I like to say that if you're seeking a business degree, it's regardless to what industry you go into, because they have business processes. So the skill set that you're gaining by doing and engaging in this activity, whether it be this or any type of student leadership activity, will go across industry, regardless of what career you choose. I just wanted to kind of comment on that.
Yeah, thank you.
Very
David.
true. Thank you, David.
Yeah, it's super true. Yeah, I can personally, I agree with that 100%. It's, like I said, I was sharing my story earlier, and I used to be a business major, but now I'm a political science major. You know, in some ways, it doesn't really have anything to do with the business realm, but in other ways, it totally does. You really, as a political science major, I really think you have to have that public speaking knowledge and the comfort to communicate with your community. So just having social skills really helps all of us get to that path or that goal that we're trying to reach at the end of the route. So CSN really is something that allows for you to work in that experience, like David also mentioned, or any other organization. But yeah, thank you for that comment, David.
Yeah, and to add, for those of us, you know, who may not know what they ultimately would like to do, this can be an extremely invaluable experience just because of the exposure to new ideas and new possibilities that you maybe didn't even know existed. Just by talking to people, just by getting a better understanding of what people do and why people do it, you can, you know, start to develop ideas about what you might want to do.
So I see we have representation from a lot of different colleges on this call. We have CCD, Morgan Community College, ACC, Pikes Peak, Northeastern Junior College. We actually have FRCC from different campuses. I noticed Larimer representation. We would love to learn more about each campus's experiences that you're having in regards to some of the things that we discussed, community-based learning projects.
For sure. Philip just put something on the comments. Yeah, of course. Philip?
Yeah, I had to unmute myself.
No worries.
So my name is Philip Benoit. I'm a student senator at Pikes Peak Community College, and my specific role is the downtown campus representative senator. And our downtown campus at Pikes Peak Community College is mainly focused on arts and music. But there are other academic programs at that campus as well. They're just not the primary focus as a campus. So when I first joined the music department in the middle of COVID, I realized that there was no music club, and I wanted a place to speak with other students that were in my field, and we had this one thing that we did every week where we had a symposium. So usually 2 or 3 students would play a piece, but it was a gathering. Basically, all the music majors in the program had to go and watch. And so that gave me a great forum to plug this idea for a music club. And so once I plugged that, I ended up getting 30 or 40 emails from different people looking for participation interest. Now, then we had to go through the whole process. And mind you, all of this was digital. It's all over Zoom because this is the middle of COVID. But having that plug was in that pre-existing forum. That was the key to it all. So I think if you can find an area and just kindly reach out to whoever's in charge and say, hey, you know, I'm starting this other program that's student-led, and we want more experience. We want more opportunities. No school, I think, is ever going to deny you that. And that was the beginning. So after we started it, we had about 6 or 7 key members that became leadership, and we've had meetings that ranged upwards of 10 people to 12 people, which doesn't sound like a lot, but at the same time, these student-led organizations, when I look at the averages from any of the other organizations that just start, they don't come close. Finding that plug was the key.
Awesome. Yeah, that's a great example of what you can do if you have initiative. You want to do something, you found a way to go and do it, and it sounds like it was really successful.
What did you say that plug was again?
So our music department has a symposium. So all of the music majors have to go to the symposium. It's on Thursdays at 2, and
okay,
everybody's there.
Awesome.
So find a meeting group, a
Yeah.
meeting of people that are like-minded or in the same field, where they're already meeting, and you want to piggyback off of that. Going out and asking whoever's in charge of that and saying, hey, I have this other thing that I want to build up. Usually, I mean, outside of schools, I don't know if it works as easily or as fluidly, but and I don't know that you get as much support. And to be honest, I didn't have a whole lot of faculty support. They just didn't really say no, essentially. But they didn't say, oh, yes, this is an amazing idea. Do it. Let's go.
Yeah.
We'll help you all the way. It was like, okay, if you want to do this, do it. But, you're going to get 5 minutes. And after that, we've got to go on to regular business.
Yeah.
But yeah, thanks for letting me share.
Yeah, thanks for sharing.
Of course,
That's actually,
yeah.
that helps out, helps us out a lot too.
Super awesome. And actually, there's somebody